That was terrible.
That was crap. That was garbage.
This place sucks.
Overreaction Monday.
All right, Christopher, what do you have over
All
there?
right, let's go to Pittsburgh, guys. Absolute beatdown by the Steelers over the Browns. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the best team in the AFC.
Well, I guess they're the only remaining undefeated team in the AFC.
They sure are.
I'm concerned about the Devin Bush. I'm concerned about the Devin Bush injury to that defense. But I guess you need to say that's not an overreaction. They're absolutely in the mix to win the AFC. They could wind up being the 1 seed. You know, I know there may not be more than a handful of fans and making a difference in a championship game or a playoff game, but they got the Hall of Fame quarterback who looks as good as ever. They've got the run game. This kid, Chase Claypool, is amazing.
Amazing.
And the defense has been as stout as ever. They just absolutely sucked the soul out of the Cleveland Browns yesterday, coming into that game thinking maybe they were peers, and they're basically saying, It's like they took the figurative Browns helmet off their head and hit him over the head with it.
Titans are also.
Figured out what I'm saying.
Titans are also
so undefeated. Yeah, pardon me. They're undefeated too. So I'll still take the Steelers. Yes.
Take the Steelers?
I'll still say that this is not an overreaction. Correct.
All right, great. We were talking about Tua earlier. Let's talk about Miami. The Dolphins, not the Patriots, will be the second AFC East playoff team.
Say that one more time.
The
Dolphins, not the Patriots.
Not the Patriots. Second AFC East playoff
I think that's
team.
an overreaction right now, yes. I would definitely think that's an overreaction right now. I don't know where the hell that clunker for the Patriots came from. But you could make a case of that things have not been normal there.
Yeah,
and
I would chalk it up
Belichick,
to just 1 or 2 practices.
and I know that the things that have not been normal there have been not been a distraction or a problem for the Tennessee Titans. So, you know, I'll just say that's an overreaction. What else do you have over there?
Bears. We talk about Nick Foles earlier, Rich.
Yes.
The Bears are going to win the NFC North.
That's an overreaction. That's an overreaction. I still think Green Bay is the team. I still think Green Bay is a team. I know that we're week in and week out saying that's it for the Bears, or are they really? Are the Bears who we think they are? Are the Bears really who we thought they were? I'll just still say that's an overreaction right now.
Riding Carolina, 3 straight wins. Bears come in town looking so-so.
It's just not easy to go on the road and they got steamrolled. They just put 1 point after another for Green Bay. I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet. I still think they're the class of the NFC North.
All right. Let's stay in the NFC North. The Vikings are not good. They need to trade Kirk Cousins and start over.
Who would take Kirk at this salary? Who would take Kirk Cousins at a guaranteed rate of this? Nobody. They can't trade him and start over.
They can't cut him either, so they got to try to get something for him.
I don't know, but who would say, I'll take Kirk Cousins at $30 million guaranteed per? Who? I don't know. Like, would another team really do that?
$30 million seems like a bargain at that point. I mean, if you're the Giants or if you're...
I will say that they may have to start over, but I don't think that's... I don't think they're going to wind up with 1 win either. The team that almost won in Seattle, for some reason, just pooped the bed against Atlanta. I don't know what it is. They're inconsistent. That's trouble, but this Justin Jefferson kid is very special.
Very good, yeah.
And I think they're going to win more than 1 game, although right now my 4th down hot take of week 2 that the Jacksonville Jaguars will have a better record than the Vikings by the end of the season is still very viable right now entering week 7, and that's a problem.
But Alexander Madison was the big waiver pickup in fantasy this week.
Well, he ain't Dalvin Cook. He's not Dalvin Cook.
Zero.
Clearly. Well, they're on a bye, right? Minnesota's on a bye, and then they come back at Green Bay, and they could lose the season series from them, and then that's a big, huge problem. But I still think that there's winnable games for them the rest of the way here, including Jacksonville at home in Week 13. But that was just an untimely Kirk Cousins clunker yesterday.
That's a good fantasy name.
Thank you.
We talked to George Kittle just a little bit ago. The San Francisco 49ers saved their season last night, beating the Rams.
Well, 2-4 in that division is no good. I don't want to say save the season because there's still a 7 seed out there, and we have no precedence to figure out if a 7 seed is going to be open for a 7-win team, but they're not a 7-win team. It was a let's just put it this way. It wasn't a must win, a season saving win, but it was a need to have. If that makes any sense. They kind of it was highly useful. You don't want to lose 4 out of your first 6, including a home game against a division rival that you would now be 3+ games behind. That was a crucial W for them. And, now at New England, at Seattle, home for Green Bay, at New Orleans, and then a bye before they're at the Rams, home for Buffalo. It's a long
That's a
stretch.
tough schedule.
You do need to take care of business in a game like last night. Am I talking myself into saying that's not an overreaction?
By the way, props to Tony Dungy. Everyone on the NBC set last night took the Rams. Tony Dungy, the lone person.
He was a lone wolf?
He lone wolf.
Did he howl? Well, they don't do that on NBC.
I don't think Tony Dungy howled.
Thank you, sir. That'd be great.
All right. They scored 38 unanswered against Green Bay yesterday, but it will be the Bucs defense will be the reason they win the NFC South.
How can you say that that's anything but a proper way to look at it? I know it's the GOAT, and I know that they got these receivers, but that was a hell of a team effort. As I started the show by saying, that's exactly the stuff that I thought Tampa Bay could be, and it took 6 weeks to see it, and we'll see if it's repeatable. Well, that's a big one next Sunday night against the Las Vegas Raiders. We're coming off of a win against the Chiefs. You could say both teams coming off their big wins of the season. With all due respect to their Week 2 win against the Saints for the Raiders to go into Kansas City, that is a shocker. Yeah, I'll say that's appropriate. That's okay. I'll take it.
All right.
We can make that argument.
Okay.
We can make the argument.
All right. I know you made the case for Derrick Henry earlier in the show, and we are going to talk to Ryan Tannehill in about 7 minutes. Ryan Tannehill needs to be in the MVP discussion.
I think so. Why not? Why not? If your team's 5-0, you should have a conversation for MVP, and you should have a player in the conversation for MVP, and also have a coach in the conversation for Coach of the Year. It's that simple. It's that simple. And Tennessee, I pegged Derrick Henry yesterday as just let's throw a running back in there. But what Tannehill's doing is just amazing, man. He has a complete command, total command. You don't see like 3 or 4 misfires that nearly turn the game over. You just don't see it. I think he should be. Again, it's time to start erasing the Miami years and just talk about what we're seeing in front of us. And what we're seeing in front of us is a quarterback who is mastering the playbook that's been put in front of him with the roster that he has around him. But it certainly helps to have someone like Derrick Henry. Do you have one more over there, sir?
I do have one more, last one. I know it's maybe not what you want to hear, but I'm going to say Trevor Lawrence is going to play for the Jaguars in 2021.
Hey, look, man. It would be just like the Jets to just go into... I can't even... Where am I going to say they're going to go into and win? What, Buffalo? Chargers? Kansas City? I mean, really? What are they going to do? And... Jacksonville's got some games that are really tough on the schedule, but they're division games where they could actually win it. I mean, Minshew's... I would take Minshew, Chark, and Robinson over Darnold, Jamison Crowder, and, Gore or Pirine. I mean, seriously, they have a better roster. They've got a better team.
Yeah, I don't really see a win on the Jets schedule. I guess if the Vikings play the way they did, maybe Jacksonville could go to Minnesota and win.
Let me throw open for you. Let me throw open one wild scenario on this front.
Let's go.
And we'll take it to break, and we'll bring in Ryan Tannehill. There is a one-win team out there that I don't think will be in the running. All right? But the Houston Texans' first-round draft choice is owned by the Miami Dolphins. Think about that scenario that's in the ether, that's out there. Who knows, okay? They have played better since Romeo Crennel has taken over in 2 weeks. But just think about that. What if the Miami Dolphins wind up and they're like, we've got Tua and Trevor. We'll stick with Tua and we'll trade Trevor, and who wants him? Or if they should even think that Trevor's an upgrade and trade Tua. What about that?
With that head coach.
Who I think has been terrific.
Terrific.
You're looking at the Texans' schedule. They're next up against Green Bay. Bye week. And then it's an important game at Jacksonville, at Cleveland, New Orleans. There are some winnable games. Houston should win some of these games. I mean, please.
They should.
But
that would score them a Herschel Walker-like haul.
Right?
Miami could be set forever. But so could the Jets. And that's why they should make sure nothing else. It's within their power. Right now, as we enter week 7, they're in the lead. The only lead they've had all year long of anything of significance. Only. Have they even led in a game? No, they did score first against Denver, right? When Darnold put it in the end zone?
Let me double check.
We'll take a break. Just even that would make me feel better. I don't know if that means anything. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.